Hi, and today's a really fun project. We're going to go over how to make a logo. I'm going to use a fictional pickle company, and I've named it Pickle Essence. We're big fans of pickles at my house, so I thought this would be a fun thing to do. And so what we're going to do is say the client has told you this is the new name of their company, and they want you to make a logo, and they're open to a lot of creative ideas. All right, so the first thing I would do is ask the client for some examples of logos that he likes. And now let's say I've done that and my client has sent back to me these 3 logos that he likes that are food-related logos. And he says that he just likes the fun playfulness of this and some sort of graphic to show you what type of food item it is. Great, that's super helpful. All right, so now we can go on and getting some other inspiration for color, iconography, and typography. All right, to start with, let's grab some really cool typefaces that we can work with. I like to go to Adobe Fonts, and when you go there for this project, we're going to do Browse All, and then here you can put your sample text in, Pickle Essence, and it's going to show you down here how different fonts look with your word, which is super handy. Over on the left side, you get some examples of this type of typography that you're going for. So if you just want to look at something that's with like calligraphy, it'll just show you examples of that. If you want something that's a little funky, show you what that style looks like. Or you can go by classification of serif, sans serif, something, somewhere in those lines. So those are really the main 2 things that I like to use whenever I'm looking through some different fonts. So once you find one that you like, you just go over to Add Family, and then it'll automatically show up in your Adobe Illustrator program. The next tool that I like to use is Adobe Color. And if you go to Adobe Color and then Explore, you can type in what you're looking for. So I'm going to say green. And it'll generate several color combinations with whatever color you've put in here. So let's say I could do green and blue. This is really helpful to see how those colors should come together, different combinations that you might not have thought of, and also what work well together. So for the pickles, I'm just going to look at green. And I'm going to browse through here and see if there's a couple that I feel like might be some good ones to work with. And then I can just go to download. And I can download that JPEG and drop it into my design file. All right, and the last thing we're going to go to is Vecteezy. It's got a lot of really great vector artwork here. Let's go ahead and type in pickles. Great, and you can already see a lot of wonderful vectors that are coming up that we can use. Vecteezy is not expensive to use, but you're going to want to buy that so that you can use this in your logo. So I'm going to browse through here, pick out a couple that I would like to use, and add that to my artboard as well. Okay, awesome. So here we are back at the artboard, and we've got a couple different typefaces that we found we like, 2 pickle vector images, and 2 different color palettes. So I'm going to play around with these to come up with 1, 2, or 3 logo designs that I'll then present to my client. So first, looking at the typefaces over here, I think this is a really fun one. So let's just start playing with this guy. One thing I'm thinking of, because I've got these 2 words, pickle and essence, perhaps I can do a little bit of an overlapping in the logo. That could be a really fun thing. So I'll try that. This is the part where you're playing around. The client isn't looking over your shoulder as you do this. So see what works, see what doesn't, and there's no harm done. All right, I'm going to make that 2 different colors of green. So I'll pull in one of these. Pull some colors from this, see how I like it. This could be fun. Yeah, I think overall it's working pretty good. And then let's pull in these pickles. Probably going to put them here at the front. And the client liked how there was just the tracing of the pickle on there. It didn't have like a circle behind it or a really unique icon like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. Doing some revisions, maybe we decide that we want to make it more like within a circle or called out a bit more. But for right now, I don't think that fits what we think the client wants. I really like that coloring behind here. Yeah, if I take this color and I'm gonna kind of combine these two guys together. See what happens. Go ahead and pick the same colors that we were using previously. And again, don't be scared with this part. This is the fun exploring part. See what's working, see what's not working. And oftentimes the more logos you make, the more creative you get, the more ideas you have. So just play around and have fun. Yeah, that'll be cool. All right, let's send it back. Yeah, I think that's really fun. But also, you know, there's got the eye here. What if we replaced this? This could be neat. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it, I like that size there a lot because it stands out, but I think you can still tell that's supposed to be the eye. Move my S over. But since it's a little tighter here, I think I'll tighten up manually all the work a little bit. Yeah. Oh, I think that's really fun. Okay, well, I think that'll be the first logo I'll do. You're at the beginning of the logo design process here, so this is just really to get a good idea of, hey, I think this logo works, but I'm interested in what the client's feedback is going to be on it. So at this point, I'm not going to outline the fonts or anything. I'm going to leave it as is because this might change quite a bit in the revision process. But let's go ahead and set this one aside. And I'm going to do a second logo design. Let's see which. Let's try this one. This is kind of shaped like a pickle. All right. I want to make it different from the one above because then I can get better feedback on what they like, what they don't like. So for this one, let's use maybe that other color palette that I pulled over. Maybe we'll try, that color could be fun. And you can always do color pick or you can kind of spot on your own. Sometimes I like to do a little bit of both. Yeah, let's try that and see. Okay. This is a little too blue for me, I think. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so that's a fun thing. Let's go ahead and this pickle's working better because it's a little bit shorter and chunkier to be with the logo since we don't have like a circle or something around it. So I'm going to keep playing with this guy. And maybe I will color him to be the same. Nope, I don't want that. Yeah. All right. Or maybe I do want him to be the same. What was this color? All right, and there's so many ways that you can pull color and such in an Illustrator, so whatever works well for you. Don't think I'm gonna touch. Oh, fun. I'm gonna try to make maybe not quite as big, shrink it down just a tad. See how I like that. Oh, it's covering up too much. All right. I think that looks like a good second option. And the one thing I would do, again, I've said this before, but when you're presenting to your client, have some really different options, because then they can say, you know, hey, I like the stroke on this, or I like, do or don't like the overlay of here, or I like that there's color behind the pickle. I don't like there's color behind the pickle. Giving them something to point out of what they like and they don't like. Yep, so these would be the 2 logos that I would go ahead and present to this client and go with revisions from there. I'll do another video that can show you how to wrap up your logo for a client handoff, but this is what I've got for logo design. Thanks, and if you have any comments, drop them below, and be sure to subscribe to be notified of upcoming videos.